The rain-slicked streets of Seattle gleamed like shattered mirrors under the sodium lamps as Aiden Harper slammed the door of his childhood home, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. "I'm gay, Mom. Deal with it," he spat, the words tasting like ash on his tongue. A desperate lie born from the suffocating weight of their endless matchmaking dinners. But in that frozen instant, as his parents' faces crumpled like forgotten letters, Aiden realized the hook had sunk too deep. Freedom always came laced with its own cruel barbs. Aiden's boots splashed through puddles on the cracked sidewalk of Queen and Hill, the city's fog-enshrouded pulse thrumming around him like a half-remembered dream. Seattle had always been his anchor, its gray skies mirroring the quiet storms inside him, its endless drizzle washing away the sharp edges of regret. At 28, he was a graphic designer scraping by in a cramped Capitol Hill apartment, sketching logos for craft breweries and indie bands that paid just enough to keep the lights on. But tonight, the city felt like a conspirator, its damp chill seeping into his bones as he replayed the scene in his head. His parents, Margaret and Tom Harper, were the epitome of evergreen state solidity. She a retired high school counselor with a penchant for lavender-scented candles and passive-aggressive sighs. He a grizzled ex-carpenter who traded his hammer for a real estate license in their semi-retirement. They'd built their life in this hilly neighborhood, a Victorian house perched like a sentinel overlooking Puget Sound, filled with faded photos of Aiden's awkward adolescence. Soccer trophies, prom dates with girls he'd never called back, family barbecues where the salmon grilled just right. Lately, though, those walls had closed in. Margaret's emails had escalated from casual check-ins to veiled ultimatums. "Darling, Evelyn's son from church is single. Such a catch." Tom's calls were blunter. "Son, you're not getting any younger. We want grandkids before we're dust." The pressure had crested at Thanksgiving, 2 weeks back, when they'd sprung a surprise dinner with Lydia Voss, a 30-something accountant from Tacoma whose laugh was as engineered as her highlights. Aiden had endured it, the forced small talk about Roth IRAs and weekend hikes, his fork scraping against the plate like nails on chalkboard. By dessert, with Lydia's hand brushing his under the table, he'd cracked. Not with truth, though. Aiden wasn't gay. He'd dated women in college, fleeting sparks that fizzled under the weight of his own indecision. No, the lie had bubbled up like bile, a shield against the noose of expectation tightening around his neck. "I'm not straight." He'd blurted it over pumpkin pie, the room going still as a held breath. Margaret's fork clattered to her plate, her eyes widening behind her bifocals. Tom leaned back, his chair creaking like an accusation, face flushing the color of overripe apples. "What do you mean, not straight?" he'd growled, as if the words were a foreign dialect. Aiden had doubled down, heart jackhammering. "Gay, Dad. I'm gay." The confession hung there, a grenade with the pin pulled, and in the stunned silence, Aiden tasted the bitter irony. It was a fabrication, woven from half-truths about lonely nights scrolling Grindr out of curiosity, about the way certain male models in his sketches lingered a beat too long. But it bought him time, or so he'd thought. They hadn't exploded. Not then. Margaret had risen, wordless, and cleared the table with mechanical precision, her shoulders rigid as fresh lumber. Tom had muttered something about needing air and retreated to the garage, where the scent of sawdust and regret mingled eternally. Lydia had excused herself politely, her heels clicking a hasty retreat down the flagstone path. Aiden had slipped out soon after, the lie echoing in his ears like a bad echo. Now, blocks away, he ducked into the rusty Anchor, a dive bar wedged between a vape shop and a laundromat, its neon sign flickering like a Morse code of despair. The place was a time capsule. Sticky oak counters scarred from decades of spilled IPAs, walls papered in faded Mariners posters and Polaroids of regulars long gone. Aiden slid onto a stool, signaling to Gus, the bartender whose mustache looked like it had been glued on in the 70s. "Usual," Gus rasped, already pouring a pint of Manny's pale ale. Aiden nodded, the foam cresting like a wave he wished would drown him. He nursed the glass, the hops bitter on his tongue, mind replaying the fallout texts that had buzzed his phone en route. Margaret's, we need to talk. Sweetheart. Family meeting tomorrow. Tom's. This isn't you, kid. We'll fix it. Fix it. The words curdled in his gut. What did that even mean in 2025? Conversion camps were relics, buried under lawsuits and scandals. But his parents' generation clung to bootstraps and blind faith. Aiden scrolled his feed absent-mindedly. Endless reels of queer joy from pride parades in Capitol Hill, couples twirling under rainbow banners. But it all felt performative, a world he glimpsed but never touched. By midnight, buzzed and brooding, he stumbled home to his walk-up, the stairwell reeking of takeout Thai and neighborly weed. His apartment was a chaos of half-finished canvases and takeout containers, sketches pinned to every surface. Brooding figures in raincoats, cityscapes fractured by light. He collapsed onto the futon, staring at the ceiling cracks that mapped his fractures. The lie had been impulsive, a Hail Mary to shatter the marriage machine grinding toward him. But now it was a Pandora's box, and the demons wore his parents' faces. Morning came gray and unforgiving, coffee brewing like sludge in his French press. Aiden dragged himself to the kitchen table, phone in hand, when the call came. Margaret's voice, steel-wrapped in silk. Aiden, we're coming over, 11 sharp. And bring your appetite, we're discussing options. Options. The word slithered like smoke. He showered, the hot water doing little to rinse the dread, and by the time their knock echoed 3 sharp raps like judgment. He was armored in jeans and a hoodie, resolve brittle as autumn leaves. They arrived bearing Tupperware, Margaret's famous clam chowder, still steaming, Tom's contribution a 6-pack of Rainier. The living room felt too small, the air thick with unspoken indictments. Margaret unpacked the food with fussing efficiency, her pearls clicking like rosary beads. Tom loomed by the window, gazing at the sound where fairies cut white wakes, his hands jammed in his pockets. Sit, Margaret commanded, ladling soup into bowls. Aiden obeyed, spoon hovering. We prayed on it, Aiden, all night, and we love you, God knows we do. But this phase, it's not who you are. It's not a phase, Mom. The lie stuck in his craw, but he pushed it down. Tom cleared his throat, turning with the gravity of a man who'd felled redwoods. We talked to Pastor Ellis. He says it's common, pressure, confusion. But there's a way forward. A compromise. Aiden's stomach nodded. Compromise? Margaret's eyes softened. Or maybe it was pity. We've arranged a meeting with someone who understands. A mentor of sorts. Levi Kane. He's an old friend of your father's from the Union days. Widower, solid Christian man. He's been through similar struggles. He'll guide you, show you the path back. Levi Kane. The name landed like a stone in still water. Aiden pictured some musty septuagenarian in corduroy, Bible in one hand, rainbow-repelling pamphlets in the other. Dad, I don't need a mentor. I need you to accept. Accept what? Tom exploded, voice cracking like thunder over the Olympics. That my boy's throwing away his life on some delusion. Levi's offering help, son. Real help. Dinner tomorrow, neutral ground. The Pike Place Market Cafe. Be there or so help me. The threat hung unfinished, but Aiden felt its weight. Margaret reached across, her hand cool on his. For us, Aiden. Try. For family. He nodded, numb, the chowder turning to lead in his bowl. As they left, hugs stiff as starched collars. Aiden sank into the couch, the city humming indifferently beyond his window. Levi Kane. A lame old guy, probably reeking of mothballs and misguided mercy. What fresh hell was this? Little did he know, the hook had only just begun to reel him in. The afternoon blurred into freelance drudgery. Tweaking a band's album art, the lead singer's face morphing under his stylus into something sharper, more haunted. By evening, Aiden wandered Capitol Hill, neon bleeding from bar windows, the air alive with laughter and bass thumps. He ducked into a poetry slam at Numos, seeking solace in strangers' verses, lines about fractured identities, loves that bloomed in shadows. A barista with tattoos snaking up his arms bought him a drink after. Their conversation easy, flirtatious even. But when the guy's hand grazed his thigh, Aiden pulled back, the lie's shadow eclipsing the spark. "Not tonight," he murmured, fleeing into the night, the rain a cold slap of reality. Sleep evaded him, dreams tangled with fragmented memories. His first crush on a boy in high school gym class, dismissed as bromance. The women he dated, their touches kind but electric with absence. Was the lie even a lie anymore? Dawn crept in, painting his walls in muted grays, and Aiden dressed for battle. Crisp button-down, slacks that hugged his lean frame, hair tamed with reluctant gel. Pike Place awaited, fishmongers hawking their catch, tourists oblivious to the drama unfolding in a corner booth. He arrived early, claiming a table by the window where gulls wheeled against the Ferris wheel's slow spin. The market buzzed, stalls overflowing with tulips and lavender, street musicians plucking banjos for spare change. Aiden ordered black coffee, its bitterness a talisman, and watched the door. At precisely 7, it swung open, admitting a figure who shattered every preconception. Levi Kane was no doddering relic. Mid-40s, maybe, with salt and pepper hair cropped close, framing a face chiseled by time and tide. High cheekbones, a jaw like quarried stone, eyes the color of storm-tossed jade. He moved with a predator's grace, broad shoulders filling out a navy wool coat, jeans faded to perfection over boots scuffed from real miles. A faint scar traced his left brow, adding a rogue's edge to the quiet intensity radiating from him. Aiden's breath hitched, an unwelcome heat blooming low in his belly. Hot. The word ricocheted in his skull, absurd and insistent. This was the lame old guy. Levi's gaze swept the room, locking on Aiden's with unnerving precision. And as he approached, the air thickened, charged like the moments before a squall. "You're Aiden," Levi said, voice a low rumble, extending a hand calloused from honest work. His grip was firm, lingering a beat too long, sending a jolt up Aiden's arm. "I'm Levi. Your folks speak highly of you." Aiden swallowed, forcing a smile that felt like glass. "They have a way with words." "Coffee?" Levi slid into the seat opposite, shedding his coat to reveal a thermal shirt clinging to a chest sculpted by labor. Not Jim's. "Black if it's strong. So, tell me about yourself, kid." Beyond the headlines. "Kid." The endearment grated, yet stirred something primal. Aiden launched into the rehearsed bio. Design gigs, Seattle's grind, the vague struggles his parents had no doubt telegraphed. Levi listened, chin propped on fist, those green eyes dissecting without judgment. When Aiden faltered, Levi leaned in, scent of pine soap and sea salt invading his space. "It's brave coming out, even if it feels like jumping without a net." Brave. The word pierced the facade. Aiden's laugh was brittle. "Yeah, well, the net's looking pretty frayed." Levi's smile was slow, devastating. A curve that promised depths uncharted. "Nets can be rewoven, or you cut 'em loose altogether." He paused, stirring sugar into his cup with deliberate swirls. "Your dad's an old warhorse from the yard. Saved my ass more than once on the docks. Said you're adrift. That true?" Adrift. Aiden's throat tightened, the market's clamor fading to a hum. For the first time in days, someone saw him. Not the sun, not the lie, but the man staring back from the mirror, eyes hollow with unspoken wants. "Maybe. Feels like Seattle's currents are pulling me under." Levi nodded, gaze steady. "Currents change. Question is, you fighting M or learning to swim?" Their knees brushed under the table. Accidental, electric, and Aiden jerked back, pulse roaring. Levi didn't flinch, just held the silence, letting it stretch like taffy. By meal's end, shared plates of chowder and sourdough, conversation meandering from union busts to indie films. Aiden felt unmoored, the lie fracturing under Levi's unflinching warmth. As they parted on the cobblestones, Levi's hand clapped his shoulder, thumb grazing collarbone. "Give it time, Aiden. and call if the tide turns rough. His number burned in Aiden's phone, a beacon or a bomb. Back in his apartment, Aiden paced, the encounter replaying in fevered loops. Levi Kane, widower, yes, his husband lost to cancer 5 years back. A detail slipped in casually over bread. Christian, but the progressive kind, attending a affirming church in Ballard. Mentor? Hardly. More like a mirror, reflecting Aiden's buried hungers. The lie had summoned a devil in angel's clothing, and as night fell, Seattle's lights twinkling like conspirators, Aiden wondered if salvation came wrapped in temptation's skin. The week unfurled like a poorly edited reel, scenes splicing between obligation and obsession. Aiden buried himself in work, revisions for a tech startup's rebrand, pixels blurring under his frantic cursor. But Levi's ghost haunted every stroke. Those eyes, that voice gravel rough with lived sorrow, the way his laugh rumbled like distant thunder over the sound. Aiden told himself it was curiosity, nothing more. The lie had cracked open a door, and Levi was the draft whispering through. But late nights found him doom-scrolling Levi's sparse socials. A profile pic of him on a sailboat, wind-whipped and grinning. Posts about community builds in low-income neighborhoods, hands dirty with purpose. No red flags, just a man who'd weathered storms and emerged burnished, not broken. Margaret called midweek, her tone honeyed with hope. How was dinner? Levi's a gem, isn't he? Said you two hit it off. Aiden mumbled affirmations, dodging the undercurrent of her glee. The way she'd latched onto this therapy, like a lifeline. Tom followed up with gruff approval. Good man, Levi. Listen to him, son. He'll set you straight. The irony twisted like a knife, Aiden biting back a laugh that would shatter the fragile peace. By Friday, the itch became unbearable. He texted Levi on impulse. Coffee? My treat this time. Neutral ground. Elliott Bay Book Company. The reply pinged swift. You're on. 3 p.m. Aiden arrived early, browsing stacks of hardcovers, fingers trailing spines of Baldwin and White. Tales of Identity's Quiet Wars. Levi appeared punctual as a tide, this time in a Henley that hugged his torso like a second skin, forearms corded with veins from hauling lumber. He carried a worn paperback, The Song of Achilles, which he slid across the table with a wink. Figured you for a classics guy. Myths got layers. Like us. The pronoun landed soft, insidious. Over lattes, Levi's with a reckless pour of whiskey from a flask hidden in his jacket. They delved deeper. Levi spoke of his marriage to Ben, a graphic novelist who'd illustrated queer fables before lymphoma claimed him at 42. We met at a Rally 88 ACT UP days. He was all fire and sketches, drawing signs that cut like scalpels. Taught me love's not a straight line. It's a scribble, messy and true. His voice dipped, eyes distant, then refocused on Aiden with laser warmth. Your turn. What's the real story behind the chowder bombshell? Aiden hesitated, steam curling between them like secrets. The lie teetered on his tongue, but Levi's gaze, patient, piercing, coaxed it forth in fragments. It was panic. Mom and Dad shoving rings on my finger like it's 1950. Lydia was nice, but trapped. So I said it. Gay. To blow it up. He shrugged, heat rising in his cheeks. Stupid, right? Now they're all in on this redemption arc. Levi's chuckle was rich, unforced. Stupid's just another word for human. Lies buy time, but truth? That's the current you ride. He leaned closer, elbow on the scarred oak table, the bookstore's hush amplifying his timbre. Ever wonder what you'd scribble if the page was blank? The question burrowed, Aiden's sketches flashing. Figures entwined in ambiguous embrace, lines blurring gender and desire. I draw what I can't say, he admitted, voice threadbare. Levi nodded, as if he'd known all along, and for an hour, they traded strokes. Aiden's digital dreams versus Levi's analog builds. A treehouse for a neighbor's kid. Beams planed by hand to cradle small wonders. As dusk bled through the windows, painting the aisles in amber, Levi stood, stretching with a groan that Aiden felt in his core. Walk with me? Market's got that after-hours glow. Aiden assented, the city's evening symphony enveloping them. Fairy horns moaning, streetcars clanging like heartbeats. They wandered Pike Place's emptying stalls, Levi pointing out hidden murals. A fisherman's ode to lost loves, graffiti hearts cracked but defiant. At the original Starbucks, shuttered for the night, Levi paused, tracing the iron gate. First date spot with Ben. Nervous as a cat in a hailstorm. He spilled his grande all over me. Ruined my shirt, sealed the deal. Aiden laughed, genuine, the sound startling in its lightness. Smooth move, their shoulders brushed, proximity sparking like frayed wires. Levi turned, face shadowed, expression unreadable. You deserve that, Aiden. Spills and all. No scripts. The words landed heavy, Levi's hand lifting as if to cup his jaw, then dropping with visible restraint. Aiden's breath caught, a precipice yawning. Levi, Easy, Levi murmured, stepping back, green eyes stormy. No rushing the tide. He hailed a cab then, vanishing into the night with a nod that promised return. Aiden walked home alone, the city's lights smearing into constellations, his body humming with unanswered questions. That night, sleep came fitful, dreams of calloused hands mapping uncharted skin, wakes laced with guilt's sharp tang. Saturday dawned crisp, a rare blue sky tease, and Aiden's phone buzzed with Margaret's invite. Family brunch at their house, to check progress. Dread coiled, but he went stealing for interrogation. The Victorian gleamed under autumn sun, chrysanthemums flaming in pots, Tom manning the grill with tongs like weapons. Margaret fussed over quiches, her smile brittle. Levi called your father, said you're opening up. That's progress, dear. Aiden forked eggs, evading. He's easy to talk to. Tom grunted approval, flipping bacon with vigor. Cain's salt of the earth. Lost Ben Young makes a man wise. You'll see. The meal dragged, laced with sidelong glances, until Margaret broached the elephant. We've paused the Lydia talks, for now. But Aiden, promise us, give Levi a rail shot. No more running. Running. The accusation stung, Aiden's fork clattering. I'm not running, Mom. I'm just figuring. Tom's eyes narrowed, but he let it slide, the unspoken truce fragile as spun sugar. Post-brunch, Aiden fled to his studio, but focus eluded. He sketched Levi instead, profile sharp against imagined waves, scar a silver thread in pencil lead. The lines flowed freer than months, desire bleeding into every curve. By evening, impulse won. Another text. Hike tomorrow? Discovery Park if you're game. Levi's reply, Dawn. I'll bring the thermos. Aiden crashed early, body thrumming, the lie morphing into something perilously close to truth. Dawn broke golden, trails winding through old-growth firs, the park a cathedral of moss and mist. Levi waited at the trailhead, backpack slung, flannel over thermals, beard shadowed with dew. Morning, artist. His grin disarmed, and they set off, boots crunching needles, conversation ebbing like breath. The path climbed, Puget Sound unfolding below in sapphire expanses. Levi shared stories, dockside brawls, Ben's laugh echoing in empty rooms, peeling layers without demand. Aiden reciprocated, halting tales of college flings that fizzled. The hollow ache of parental pride turned puzzle. At a clearing, they paused, thermos uncorked to spiked coffee, the burn chasing chill. You're carrying it heavy, Levi said, capping the flask, eyes on the horizon. The lie, like it's a beam you can't drop. Aiden's chest tightened, words tumbling. It was supposed to free me. Now it's chaining us both. Levi turned, close enough to count lashes, his hand rising to brush a leaf from Aiden's hair. Fingers lingering, electric. Time stuttered, the forest holding its breath. Then Levi stepped back, throat working. Chains break, Aiden, but only if you swing the hammer. The descent was charged, silences pregnant, knees brushing on narrow ledges. At the lot, Levi pulled him into a hug, brief, bone-melting, muttering, "Text anytime." Doors open. Aiden drove home dazed, the sketchpad calling. That night, he drew them, intertwined in fur shade, faces tilted in unspoken plea. The lie had birthed a hunger, and Levi Kane was its feast. But shadows loomed. Monday brought Tom's call. Levi mentioned the hike. "Good. But son, keep it platonic. He's helping, not complicating." The warning chilled, Aiden assuring compliance while his pulse betrayed him. Margaret's follow-up was sweeter poison. "We're proud you're trying. Invite him to dinner soon." Family integration. Integration. The word mocked as Aiden navigated client calls, mind adrift. Midweek, Levi texted first. "Ballard seafood. 7. My treat. Owe you for the view." Aiden arrived to candlelit tables. Levi in a crisp shirt, sleeves rolled to expose forearms like carved oak. Over Dungeness crab and Chardonnay, barriers crumbled. Levi's voice softened recounting Ben's final days, grace in grief's grip. Aiden confessed the lie's genesis. Levi's response a quiet anchor. "Doesn't make your feelings less real. Bisexuality's a spectrum. Kid, not a sin." Bisexuality. The label fit like a glove half-tried. Aiden's nod tentative. Dessert brought fingers brushing over tiramisu, sparks igniting. Outside, rain pattered. Levi's coat over both as they dashed to his truck, laughter breathless. The cab was warm, vinyl creaking, Levi's thigh solid against his. "Stay dry," he said, voice husky, thumb tracing Aiden's knuckles before releasing. Home. Aiden stripped to skin, mirror reflecting flushed cheeks, arousal stark. The lie had evolved, birthing vulnerability's bloom, and Levi, with his steady flame, threatened to consume it all. November's chill deepened. Seattle's leaves a carpet of russet and gold, mirroring the slow burn kindling in Aiden's veins. Days blurred into a rhythm of stolen hours. Texts pinging like Morse code through workdays. Levi's thinking of that sketch you mentioned, pulling smiles from Aiden's fatigue. Their meets multiplied. Coffee evolving to walks along the locks. Watching salmon leap silver arcs. Levi's arm brushing his in feigned accident. Each touch lingered longer, conversations delving into marrow. Aiden's fear of disappointing. Levi's quiet admission of loneliness post-Ben. Nights where the house echoed too loud. Yet the family's shadow lengthened. Margaret's dinners became mandates, her eyes scanning Aiden for progress. Tom's grunts laced with impatience. "Levi says you're talking. But when's the real change, son?" Aiden deflected with half-truths, the lie's weight pressing like wet wool. One evening, over pot roast in Queen and Levi arrived as invited. His presence a balm and balm. He charmed effortlessly, complimenting Margaret's pie, swapping union yarns with Tom that drew rare belly laughs. Aiden watched, transfixed, Levi's hand grazing his under the table, a secret pulse amid domesticity. Post-meal, as dishes clattered, Levi cornered him in the pantry, door ajar. "Your folks mean well, but they're blind to the man you're becoming." His breath ghosted Aiden's ear, body heat a furnace. Aiden turned, noses brushing, the air crackling. "And who am I, Levi? Tell me." Levi's gaze darkened, hand cupping his nape, thumb stroking pulse point. "Mine to discover if you'll let." The kiss hovered, inevitable. Then Tom's voice boomed from the hall, shattering the spell. They sprang apart, Levi's wink conspiratorial as they rejoined the fray. That night, alone, Aiden's body rebelled, fingers tracing paths Levi's might release a gasp of his name into the dark. Guilt followed, twin to desire, the lie fracturing further. Was this redemption or ruin? The weekend brought escape. A drive to the Olympics, Levi's truck rumbling over passes, playlist a mix of Springsteen and Hozier, voices raw with ache. They hiked Hurricane Ridge, air pine sharp, views unfolding in jagged majesty. At the summit, wind whipping, Levi pulled Aiden against him, backs to the gale. Feel that? World's big enough for us. His lips brushed temple, then jaw a trail of fire. Aiden twisted, capturing mouth in desperate claim. Soft at first, then devouring, tongues tangling with salt and need. Levi groaned, hands roaming hips, pinning to rock. God, Aiden, he rasped, breaking for air, foreheads pressed. You're fire. They tumbled down laughing, flushed, the kiss a seal on unspoken vows. Back in Port Angeles, a motel room. Faded quilts, neon buzzing. Saw clothes shed in fevered haste. Levi's body was a map of scars and strength. Faded tattoos from youth, the widower's lean from grief's forge. Aiden explored with reverence, lips charting collarbone, nipples pebbling under tongue. Levi reciprocated, patient predator. Kisses trailing sternum, hands parting thighs with murmured consent. Their joining was symphony. Slow builds to crashing crescendos, Levi's name a litany, Aiden's gasps the counterpoint. After, tangled in sheets, Levi traced lazy circles on Aiden's chest. No regrets. None, Aiden whispered, truth blooming. The lie felt distant, a shed skin. But dawn brought reality's bite. Levi's phone buzzed, Tom, checking in. Tell him we're good, Levi said, but doubt flickered. Aiden dressed, the room suddenly small. This us. It's real, right? Levi pulled him close, kiss grounding. Real as these mountains. Return to Seattle was idle interrupted. Margaret's ambush at Aiden's door, arms laden with casseroles, eyes hawk-sharp. Levi dropped you? Overnight. Her tone iced over, probing. Aiden parried. Just crashed after the drive. Nothing. Improper. She softened, but suspicion lingered, her hug cloying. We're praying for clarity, dear. For you both. Clarity. The word mocked as Aiden dove into deadlines. Sketches now infused with Levi's form. Curves of shoulder, arch of back. Levi texted coordinates for a Ballard lock watch. But work detained. Frustration mounting. That night, alone, Aiden cracked open the Achilles book, lines blurring with his own epic. Heroes loving fierce against fates unkind. Midweek, the fracture widened. Tom summoned Levi to the house. Man to man, he texted Aiden obliquely. Curiosity gnawed. Aiden arrived unannounced, slipping in the back door to eavesdrop from the kitchen, heart hammering. Tom's voice rumbled low. Appreciate you helping the boy, Kane, but I know your history, Ben and all. Don't lead him astray. Levi's response, steady as bedrock. Tom, Aiden's finding his way. Not astray, awake. Silence stretched, then Tom's growl. Awake to what, Sin? I trusted you to guide him back, not drag him deeper. Deeper. The word twisted, Aiden's blood roaring. Levi's chair scraped. Love's not a drag, old friend. It's light. And Aiden? He's got more light than you know. Footsteps neared. Aiden ducked into the pantry again, breath shallow. Levi entered for water, spotting him. Eyes widening, then softening. Eavesdropper, he murmured, pulling Aiden flush, kiss fierce and fleeting. Stay strong. But Tom's parting shot echoed. Choose sides, Levi. Family or folly. The door slammed, Levi's truck engine fading into dusk. Aiden emerged to Margaret's fretting. Everything all right? Your father seemed tense. He nodded, numb, fleeing to his car where tears pricked. Betrayal's first taste, not from Levi, but blood. That night, Levi came to him, knocking soft at midnight. Aiden yanked him inside, words tumbling. He suspects. Us. Levi's arms enveloped, solid. Let him. I'm not hiding. They made love urgent, bodies a bulwark against the storm. Levi's thrusts deep, Aiden's nails raking back, cries muffled in pillows. Dawn found them spent, Levi's whisper vow. We'll weather it, together. Yet cracks spidered. Margaret's emails turned insistent. Therapy sessions booked with Pastor Ellis. For clarity's sake. Aiden resisted, but Tom's ultimatums mounted. Shape up or ship out of the business. Leveraging Aiden's freelance ties to his realty firm, Levi buffered, his own doubts surfacing over late-night whiskey. Your dad's right about one thing. I'm older, scarred. What if I'm the complication? You're the clarity, Aiden insisted, straddling lap, kisses sealing doubt. But seed planted, it germinated unease. Thanksgiving loomed, a gauntlet. Margaret's table groaned under turkey and fixings. Levi invited as ally. Tension thick as gravy. Conversation skirted minds. Politics, weather, until Tom, 3 beers deep, erupted. Enough tiptoeing. Aiden, this journey. It's killing your mother. Levi, if you're enabling. His eyes bored into Levi, accusation raw. Levi set down his fork, calm as glass. Tom, love doesn't enable, it liberates. Aiden's heart? That's his to claim. Margaret gasped, hand to throat. Aiden's pulse thundered, hand finding Levi's under linen, anchor. Tom's face mottled. Heart? This is confusion. Damn it, I brought you in to fix him, not fan flames. The table froze, silverware stilled. Aiden rose, voice steel. Fix me? I'm not broken, Dad. And Levi? He's the first real thing I've found. Margaret's sob broke the dam, tears carving channels. We just want you happy, sweetheart. Normal. Normal. The word knifed, Aiden's laugh hollow. Happy's not a script, Mom. It's this us. He gestured to Levi, who stood, hand on shoulder, united. Tom shoved back, chair toppling. Out, both of you, until you see sense. The door loomed, but Levi tugged Aiden toward it, rain lashing welcome. In the truck, Levi's grip white-knuckled on wheel. Storms here. Aiden leaned head to dash. We'll sail through. But as Queen and receded, betrayal's chill seeped. Family fractured. The lies cost in shards. Yet Levi's hand in his warmed, promise amid ruin. The high tide of feeling crested, but undertows pulled, secrets yet to surface. December's grip tightened. Seattle's holidays a glittering facade over the Harper Rift. Snow dusted the sound's edges, rare and fleeting, mirroring Aiden's fragile peace. He and Levi carved a cocoon. Levi's craftsman bungalow in Fremont, walls lined with Ben's illustrated folktales, a stone hearth crackling against night's bite, mornings brewed coffee strong, Levi's lips brushing nape as Aiden sketched at the oak table. Now portraits of them, entwined in firelight, vulnerability etched in charcoal. Beautiful, Levi murmured, chin on shoulder, breath stirring hair. Aiden turned, capturing mouth in lazy kiss, bodies aligning like puzzle lost. But exile stung. Margaret's texts pleaded, come home, darling. We miss you. Tom's silence thundered, a void swallowing freelance checks. Aiden's designs for the firm iced out. Isolation gnawed. Capitol Hill's queer scene beckoned, but Levi's orbit held, their world a dyad against the cold. One eve, over venison stew Levi hunted himself. Aiden broached the breach. They'll come around, or we make our own family. Levi's eyes shadowed, spoon stilling. Family's blood and bone, kid. Hard to forge when it's splintered. He rose, clearing plates with undue focus, back to Aiden. A wall of flannel and unresolved ache. That night, love was tender, almost mournful. Levi's touches reverent, as if memorizing, Aiden's whispers pleas for permanence. Dawn revealed the fracture. Levi gone before light, note on counter, early build. Love you. Love. The word, first uttered, bloomed terror. Aiden pocketed it, heading to a pop-up gallery in Pioneer Square. His pieces juried in, abstracts of waves crashing identity's shore. Levi arrived late, snowflakes melting in hair, pride lighting his face amid the crowd. Sold too, Aiden crowed buoyant. Levi pulled him into alcove, kiss claiming amid murmurs. Proud as hell. But as champagne flowed, Levi's phone vibrated insistent, ignored, then checked with grimace. Ellis, your folks' pastor, wants a word. The buzz soured. Homeward, Levi confessed. He's mediating. For them. Thinks I'm the villain. Aiden's gut twisted. Let him. We're not the story they write. Levi nodded, but doubt lingered, a specter in the rearview. Christmas Eve dawned brittle, Margaret's plea escalating to voicemail. Please, Aiden. One night. For old times. Levi urged go. Bridget. I'll hold the fort. Aiden relented, dressing in wool for the Victorians' glow. Twinkling lights, wreath red as warning. Tom answered gruff, Margaret enveloping in lavender hug, eyes red-rimmed. The tree loomed, ornaments from Aiden's youth dangling like accusations. Dinner was stilted. Carols on low, turkey carved with precision, conversation mined. We saw your show, Margaret ventured. Lovely. Levi there. Aiden nodded, throat tight. Tom grunted. Heard he sold well. Good for him. The olive branch, barbed. Post-feast by fire, Margaret pressed. We were wrong pushing, but scared. Aiden. For your soul. Her hand trembled. Aiden covered it, ache blooming. My soul's fine, Mom. It's loved. Tom shifted, gaze averted. Love's complicated. With him. The admission cracked, Aiden leaning in. Complicated's life, Dad. But real. Tom's nod was fractional, the dam yielding an inch. As midnight tolled, hugs lingered. Margaret's tear-streaked. Tom's backslap awkward but firm. Merry Christmas, son. Think on it. Aiden fled to Levi's, snow falling thick, heart lighter. Levi waited with cocoa spiked, tree a modest pine strung with Ben's heirlooms. How'd it go? Aiden kissed report, words tumbling. Progress, if glacial. Levi's relief was palpable, arms crushing. Knew you could. They made love by tree light, slow and sacred. Levi's mouth worship on every inch, Aiden arching into completion, names vows in the hush. New Year's brought pivot. Levi's invite to a cabin in the Cascades. Escape from city's clamor. They drove twisting roads, chains rattling, radio crooning Dylan. Times changing, indeed. The cabin nestled lakeside, logs weathered. Interior a haven of quilts and axes by hearth. Days blurred. Chopping wood, Levi's swing poetry, Aiden's attempts comic relief. Skates on frozen pond, falls into arms. Nights of stories. Levi's youth in Astoria, fishing nets and first kisses stolen. Aiden's Seattle dreams, designs deferred. One dusk, by fire, Levi grew solemn, hand in Aiden's. Ben and I, we planned forever. Then poof, teaches you to hold loose. Aiden's chest hollowed. You think this us is loose? Levi's eyes glistened. No, but fear's a thief. Steals what you build. Aiden straddled, framing face. Then we guard it. Together. The kiss ignited, bodies urgent. Levi flipping atop, rhythm fierce, claiming deep. Climax shattered. Afterglow confessions. I love you. Levi breathed. First full. Aiden echoed. Tears salting skin. Love you too. Return thawed the world. Snowmelt. Crocuses pushing. Aiden's freelance surged, buoyed by gallery buzz. Levi's builds ramped, community center rising in Central District. Their rhythm deepened, mornings tangled, evenings walks hand in hand, unashamed. But undercurrents stirred. Tom's emails resuming, tentative commissions. Margaret's lunches, probing softened to curiosity. Tell me about him, Levi. Really? Aiden did, words painting Levi's depths, Margaret's eyes misting. Sounds, steady, like your father once. Progress inching. Yet betrayal brewed unseen. Mid-February, Aiden's phone rang unfamiliar. Pastor Ellis, voice oiled. A word. Son? About Levi. Aiden met him at a cafe near the church, waterfront chill biting. Ellis, silver-haired and avuncular, slid a folder across. Printouts, emails. Your father's concerned. Levi's past. It's troubled. Aiden flipped. Old articles. Levi's youth. Arrest for protesting. Assault charge dropped. Whispers of promiscuity pre-Ben. Harmless shadows, but Ellis leaned in. And recently sightings. With men. Multiple. Photos grainy. Levi at a bar, arm around a stranger. Another, laugh shared with a contractor. Context screamed casual, but lens twisted intimate. Aiden's world tilted. This is surveillance? Ellis nodded, pious. For your good. Tom's hired a PI to protect you from influence. Betrayal crashed, not Levi's but Kin's. Privacy pillaged. Love policed. Aiden stormed out, nausea roiling, driving blind to Levi's sight. Levi hammer mid-swing, drop tool at sight. Aiden? What's? Words failed. Folder thrust forward. Levi scanned. Face ashen. Shit. Those are work buddies, nothing. Aiden's voice cracked. They spied. My own blood. Levi pulled him to truck, driving to waterfront, arms around as sobs racked. I'm poison to them, Aiden choked. No, le vi fierce. They're scared of losing control. Not you, but seed of doubt rooted. The photos innocuous yet gnawed Levi's world broader, Aiden's fragile. That night, love was reclaiming. Levi's body shield, thrusts grounding, but Aiden's mind whirled, trust fraying at edges. Confrontation crested Sunday. Family dinner, Aiden's ultimatum. Victorian tense, Margaret fluttering, Tom rigid. Folder slapped down. This your love? Spying? Tom's jaw clenched. Protecting. Kane's history troubled. Didn't want you hurt. Hurt, Aiden roared. By love? You're the wound. Margaret wept. Levi, silent sentinel, hand on Aiden's back. Tom faltered. I feared. For grandkids, legacy. Aiden's laugh bitter. Legacy's acceptance, Dad. Or nothing. Standoff shattered when Margaret clutched Aiden's arm. Stay, please. But poison seeped. Levi murmured exit, Aiden following into rain. Truck cab fogged with fury. Levi's voice breaking. Maybe space. For them to see. Space. The word gutted. You doubting us? Aiden accused. Levi's eyes pained. Doubting me for you. The mess I bring. Kiss goodbye tasted ash. Aiden fleeing to apartment. Alone with echoes. Days blurred torment. Sketches aborted. Sleep evading. Levi's texts gentle. Here when ready. But when Aiden surfaced, meeting at the anchor, Levi's confession dropped. Ellis cornered me. Said your folks might cut ties, unless I back off. Blackmail veiled. Aiden's rage reignited. Fuck them. Us against. Levi's gnawed weary. Us. Reunion raw. Bodies crashing. Love defiant. Nails scoring. Hips bruising. Release a roar against betrayal's tide. But high water marked. Undercurrents stronger. Pulling toward unknown deeps. March winds howled off the sound, scattering cherry blossoms like confetti from a ruptured dream. Aiden and Levi's bond, tempered in winter's forge, gleamed resilient. Mornings now ritual. Levi's eggs scrambled with chives. Aiden's coffee poured black. Newspapers shared over knees touching. They navigated the minefield with coded grace. Aiden's commissions rerouted through neutral contacts. Tom's silence a grudging thaw. Margaret's calls tentative bridges, laced with how's Levi? As afterthought turned genuine. Yet the PI's shadow lingered, trust's bruise tender. Aiden dove into a solo exhibit, currents, abstracts of fluid forms, desires blues and greens, pouring fracture into art. Levi attended opening, suit tailored rare, eyes devouring Aiden amid patrons' murmurs. Stunning, he whispered in ear. Hand low on back, possession subtle. Post-show, rooftop bar. City sprawled electric, toasts to survival. Levi's fingers traced wrist under cuff. You're unstoppable. Aiden's reply kiss, deep amid skyline. World fading to their heat. Intimacy evolved, layers peeled. Levi introducing rope, soft hemp, trusts tested in candlelit knots. Aiden suspended in vulnerability's thrill, Levi's mouth mapping surrender. Beautiful, Levi breathed. Control ceded then reclaimed, climaxes shattering boundaries. After, whispers of futures, joint cabin shares, Aiden's designs for Levi's builds, synergy blooming. But spring's thaw unearthed buried roots. Late April, Levi's restlessness surfaced. Long stares at Ben's photo on mantle, silences stretching. One night, over stir-fry, he confessed, dreamt of him last. Sharp, laughing at nothing. Aiden's heart clenched, hand covering. Jealous, Levi's chuckle rueful. Of ghosts? Nah, but it stirs. Guilt, for moving. Aiden pulled close, lips to temple. Moving honors him. We're not replacement, we're now. Levi's nod grateful, but eyes distant. Next day, Aiden found journal slipped in drawer. Levi scrawls, grief's verses, recent entries laced with Aiden's name. Love tangled in loss. Intrusion stung, but deepened resolve. Therapy suggested, joint. Levi agreed, wary. For us. Sessions with Elena, a Ballard counselor versed in queer widowhood, peeled onions. Levi's fears of outliving loves, Aiden's lie-born imposter syndrome. You're enough, Elena affirmed. Aiden echoing in bed, bodies affirming words. Slow grinds, gazes locked, vulnerabilities peak in shared release. Family fault lines shifted. Margaret's invite to Mother's Day brunch, Levi included explicit. Victorian bloomed azaleas, table set fine. Tom rose awkward. Glad you're here. Conversation flowed halting, gardens, weather, until Tom cleared throat. About the investigator. Overreach. Sorry, son. Apology raw, Aiden's throat bobbed. Appreciate it, Dad. Margaret beamed, squeezing hands. Healing starts here.
Post mial, Tom pulled levi aside. Garage confab, murmurs indistinct.
Aiden paced lawn, anxiety gnawing. Emergence. Tom clapping Levi's shoulder. Gruff. Take care of him. Levi's grin wolfish. Always. Drive home buoyant. Aiden straddling in cab at light. What did he say? Levi's hands gripped hips. Man talk. You're mine. End of. June solstice brought pivot. Pride weekend. Capitol Hill a riot of rainbows. They marched hand in hand. Levi's sign love wins. Always. Aiden's camera capturing joy. Drag queens voguing, allies chanting. Post-parade. After party at a loft. Bodies swaying. Levi pulling Aiden to dance. Hips grinding to bass. Kiss public. Defiant. Free. Levi growled ear, hand dipping low. Home. Frenzy. Clothes shredded. Levi bending over table. Aiden claiming rear. Thrusts possessive, cries echoing. Hours. Aiden panted, completion flooding. But idle cracked July 4th. Tom's call, urgent. Margaret's sick checkup flagged something. Come? Aiden bolted, Levi driving. Hospital sterile, Margaret pale in gown. Tom pacing. Biopsy pending. Lump. Word leaden. Aiden's hand in hers. We'll fight. Levi's presence rock. Fetching coffees. Tom's nod grateful. Vigil stretched. Results. Benign cyst. Relief crashing. Margaret's hug crushed. Thank God for family. Eyes on Levi. And you. Tom echoed private. Stayed. Means something. Bridge mended. Tentative. Summer peaked in escape. Road trip to Oregon coast. Levi's truck-laden cooler. Tent. Beaches vast, waves crashing like applause. Nights under stars. Bonfire embers. Levi's guitar strumming folk, voice gravel melody. Aiden sketched sand-swept profiles. Levi's scar silver in moon. One dawn. Tittapooling. Levi proposed casual. Live together? Fremont's got space. Aiden's yes kiss salt. Future tangible. Return buzzed. Packing Aiden's apartment. Boxes labeled, ours. But unpacking unearthed Ben's letter, slipped in book. To the next, love fierce. No half measures. Levi read aloud, voice thick. He'd like you. Aiden's arms enveloped. He made you for me. August heatwave baked city, air conditioners humming. Joint projects flourished. Aiden designing community center logo, Levi building with pride. Date nights innovated. Kayak sunsets. Levi's paddle strong. Aiden's laughter free. Intimacy playful. Ice cubes trailed spines. Levi's tongue following. Aiden writhing in melt. Yet September whispered warning. Ellis's sermon leaked online. Modern Sodom. Veiled barbs at reformed wanderers. Levi's jaw tightened. Stirring pots. Aiden's rage. Ignore. But congregation whispers reached Margaret, her call apologetic. Pastor means well, but Tom's listening. Tom's resurgence. Dinner invite just men. Steakhouse dim, steaks rare. Tom blunt. Pride was loud, but seeing you happy, Levi's steady. Still, church says. Aiden interrupted. Church says evolve, Dad. Like us. Tom sigh heavy. Trying, son. For you. Progress, but Levi's armor chinked. Post-dinner, barstool slouched. Your old man's bending. Mine never did. Flashback. Levi's father, dockworker bigot, disowning post-Ben. Beat the queer out, he said. Aiden's horror, hand squeezing. You're whole, because of it. October's fog rolled thick, mirroring doubts. Exhibit 2 loomed, tides turning. Explicit now, figures embracing ungendered. Opening night electric, Levi's toast. To depths. But post-glitter, Levi withdrew. Photos from the PI old ones. Surfaced again. Grainy youth. Levi wild, pre-Ben flings. Past haunting. Aiden burned them symbolic. Presence ours. Love that night reclamation. Levi bound wrists gentle, Aiden topping. Control shared, trust rebuilt in moans. November's eve, anniversary of confession, Aiden planned surprise. Rooftop dinner, city lights. Levi arrived, eyes crinkling. Romantic fool. Feast simple crab, wine. Then Aiden's gift. Custom sketchbook, pages their year, hikes, kisses, hearth. Levi's throat worked. Perfect. Kiss deepened, hands roaming, rooftop chill forgotten in heat. Levi's fingers breaching, Aiden gasping stars. But crescendo crested crisis. Tom's heart scare, mild attack. Hospital again, Aiden vigilant, Levi steadfast. Recovery room, Tom rasped. You too, stayed. Like family. Margaret's tears. Forgive us. Aiden's nod. Levi's quiet. Water under. Healing, but Levi's fatigue showed. Builds overtime, Elena sessions solo. Grief cycles, he explained. Aiden supported, but ache grew, space widening. Thanksgiving redux. Full table, Levi's pie contribution. Toasts tentative, then warm. Stories shared, laughter genuine. Tom's arm around Aiden. Proud, son. Of both. Margaret's wink at Levi. Welcome. Post-feast. Walk home. Aiden's hand in Levi's. We did it. Levi's squeeze. Almost. Word hung. Unspoken storm. December solstice. Cabin return. Snow deeper. Love deeper. By fire. Levi's voice cracked. Something's off. Dreams. Ben warning. Aiden's heart stuttered. Of what? Levi's eyes evaded. Losing you. To my baggage. Baggage. The word ignited argument. Aiden accusing withdrawal, Levi defending space. I need air. Levi shouted, storming snow. Aiden followed. Please lost in flurry. Return chilled. Levi's apology kiss. But fracture lingered. Trust's thread frayed. New Year's dawn. Hungover honesty. I'm scared, Levi admitted. Of loving again, losing. Aiden's vow. We face it. Together. Resolution sealed in dawn light. bodies merging slow, promises etched in skin. But undercurrents pulled relentless, betrayals echo in every wave, high tide masking the drop. January's New Year resolve hardened to ice. Seattle's rains relentless as unresolved grief. Aiden and Levi recommitted. Date jars drawn nightly, slips promising whimsy. Picnic in the Arboretum. Stargaze at Rattlesnake Ledge. Elena's sessions doubled down. Levi unpacking Ben's ghost. He was light, your depth. Aiden absorbed his own therapy solo, Lie's legacy, bisexuality's fluid grace. Own it, therapist urged. Aiden did, sketching self-portraits. Body unashamed, desires dual without divide. February's Valentine's, Levi orchestrated. Scavenger hunt through Fremont. Clues in troll shadows, under Aurora Bridge, ending at their door with rose petals trailing to bed. Dinner intimate. Oysters aphrodisiac, then slow undress. Levi's tongue devotion on every curve. Aiden's reciprocation worship. Fingers curling prostate. Levi's arch a bowstring snapped in ecstasy. Forever, Levi gasped, words binding. Family mended further. Margaret's art class enrollment. Aiden guessed. Her watercolors tentative blooms. Tom's realty nod. Commissions restored. Gruff, good work. Kid. Levi integrated seamless. Sunday suppers norm. Tom's tales of union days drawing Levi's yarns. Bonds forging. March equinox. Exhibit 3. Entwined. Collaborative. Aiden's designs etched Levi's wood carvings. Gallery humming approval. Critics praised raw intimacy. Sales soaring. Post-opening. Champagne haze. Levi pulled Aiden to alley shadows. My muse. Wall-backed. Levi's knee-parting thighs. Hands stroking through denim to gasp. Quick. Illicit release. Laughter breathless. Risky. Aiden panted. Levi's grin. Worth it. Spring surge. Garden plot at Levi's. Hands dirt black planting. Tomatoes. Basil. Dreams. Aiden's freelance agency launch. Levi's logo carved sign. Harper Currents. Pride swelled mutual nights celebrating. Levi cooking paella. Wine flowing. Dances swaying to Coltrane. Bodies prelude to tangle. Levi's weight pinning. Rhythm jazz inflected. Climaxes harmonious. But May's warmth unearthed tremor. Levi's cough persistent. Dismissed as pollen. Checkup casual, then urgent. Shadow on lung, doc said. Aiden's world grade. Hand crushing Levi's in sterile hall. Biopsy waited. Night's vigil. Aiden's sketches frantic. Levi's calm facade cracking. If it's him, cancer. I beat it once. Ben's shadow loomed, but Levi's grip. With you? Unbeatable. Results mid-June. Malignant. Early. Treatment roadmap. Chemo. Radiation. Aiden's resolve steel. We'll fight. Levi's nod wry. Team Kane Harper. Family rallied. Margaret casseroles. Tom's rides to infusions. Ellis even visited. Prayers softened. Strength for all loves. Summer's heatwave. Levi bald from chemo but handsome. Scarf rakish. Eyes jade fierce. Hikes shortened to waterfront strolls. Aiden's arm support. Conversations profound. Mortality's mirror-sharpening joys. Intimacy adapted, gentle, oral-focused. Levi's mouth expert. Aiden's hands mapping anew. Pleasure and presence over power. Still hot. Aiden teased. Levi's laugh rumble. Damn right. August's county fair escapade. Levi in wheelchair post-fatigue, but spirit unbound. Cotton candy shared. Ferris will kiss overlooking lights. Bucket list, Levi murmured. Aiden's vow. Will fill volumes. Fall's colors blazed. Treatment's toll mounting. Levi's weight loss stark, but scans promising. Shrinkage. Halloween duo. Ghosts of boyfriends past. Levity's armor. Thanksgiving feast. Levi carving turkey weak-handed but triumphant. Toasts to survivors. December's holidays. Levi's hair stubble returning. Family expanded. Tom's toast to Levi. our rock. Margaret's gift. Quilt-stitched memories, hikes, dinners. New Year's Eve. Rooftop again. Levi's flask raised. To us, unbroken.
Fireworks burst. Kish eternal.
January's anniversary. Year since rift. Marked vow renewal private. Rings simple silver. Etched. Tides. Elena witnessed. Tears. Beautiful. Family dinner followed. Full circle. Tom's arm around Levi. Brother now. Margaret's hug. Hearts heal. Spring 2026 bloomed remission. Clear. Oncologist beamed. Levi's whoop echoed hall. Aiden's tears salt joy. Cabin return. No snow, wildflowers riot. By lake. Levi knelt. Marry me? Not for show, for us. Aiden's yes. Tumbling embrace. Love-making earthbound. Grass tickling. Sun blessing. Unions deep and declarative. June wedding small. Waterfront. Family. Friends. Rain held. Vows exchanged. Aiden's, you saw me whole. Levi's, you made me new.
Rims slid. Kish sealed. Chairs rising.
Reception dance. Levi twirling Aiden. Then Tom cutting in. Clumsy steps. Laughter healing. Years unfolded tapestry. Aiden's studio thriving. Levi's builds green-focused. Travels. Astoria roots. Ben's grave-visited joint. Peace made. Children came late. Foster sons. Twins Jamal and Kai. Adopted after trials. Levi's dad roughhousing. Aiden's story bedtimes. Grandkids eventual. Tom's eyes twinkling at chaos. Aged. Levi's scar faded, but gaze undimmed. Aiden's sketches silver-haired loves. On porch, sunset sound. Hands laced. Best lie ever. Aiden quips. Levi's chuckle. Truth sweeter. In twilight's grace, they taught. Compassion over creed. Freedom in authenticity. Identity's fluid gift. Legacy not blood, but love's quiet revolution. Hearts unbound. Tides turned tender.